Okay. Um, I don't know how many people since Anton came on board. Um, they kind of, there was something about Anton where in order to listen to him, you had to get over a hump. And then once you got over the hump, then you could get into him and listen to him. Well, I had to back up to that hump, and I had to really look at it again. And occasionally, a lot of what he says triggered me to look back at this hump, and I could not figure out for the longest time where this problem was. The difference between a philosopher and a communications uh, professor. What are those differences? That should really probably be explored. And then I notice, in Anton's videos, how he's going over author, going over, he's cherry picking from multiple authors to pull together these general topics. And a lot of what he's concerned about is language. But in my last video, so far, I think I've gotten like 80 views, and I've gotten maybe 2 comments. And Anton leaves a comment, right? And his comment at the end of it, it's, did you look at my video on individuation? And then, I've seen, I believe I've seen every single one of his videos, every single one. Um, and so we're having a back and forth on his update video, and once again, he thinks he's got this consideration that I'm putting forth covered. So he's like, did you see these other videos? So in response to my claim that I am discussing, that I am opening uh, a conversation up about difference in language that he has obviously has not investigated. He has not considered it, and he's definitely not considered the ramifications of it. He thinks he has addressed it. As a matter of fact, this is what I meant by it's arrogant. He's in a position. So he really thinks he's got it covered. He really thinks he's got math covered. He really thinks he's got all of these philosophers that he's read. He thinks he's got them down pat. I mean, if you read Ernest Becker, this guy is like a light read, right? He's like a fictional. It's like reading a novelist. It's not like reading uh, Wittgenstein. Uh, it's not like reading Nietzsche. And I'm not saying that Anton hasn't read Wittgenstein or Nietzsche, but I'm suggesting that he has not got into the depths of Wittgenstein. Like, for example, Wittgenstein and mathematics talks about the convention, how it is that mathematics can be done differently. The way we count, the way we multiply, that a lot of what it is we take to be mathematics is found within the convention of how it is somebody uh, engages the culture, the acceptance of, or the convention of doing mathematics within a recursive language such as English. And he uses an example of, okay, start with 1 and multiply this number by 2. And he says, okay, so normal way would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, so forth. And Wittgenstein suggests, well, somebody could easily come along and say, okay, under the same rules, same rules, multiply this by 2 and go, okay, 2, 8, 64, and so on. And because what they're doing is they're multiplying 2 the by the signified and the operator at the same time. And he uses multiple he discusses how the convention of acceptance of this type of language, such as English, such as recursive languages, can still be misunderstood. And then once again, we get to the ramifications, the ramifications of what Derrida is suggesting by difference. And what I'm putting forth is something that undermines. It's obviously is something that Anton has not considered, because he's so goddamn arrogant. I've just decided that he has overlooked some things, and I really wish, to be serious, or somebody else that has had Wittgenstein would be able to come in here and maybe discuss more, more forcefully some of the rigors of some of the philosophy that where Anton prefers to wax over a jump from peak to peak, if you will, and make broad sweeping generalizations about how language functions. Anyway, so Derrida mentions difference, and the difference that is suggested, because we've gone back and forth, Anton and I, and it's once again as if he's not even reading the concept. He doesn't understand the notion of a non-recursive language, a non-recursive yet human language. So no wonder his update video is about mathematics and God, because this non-recursive language of Everett's, the non-recursive language does not include mathematics, and it does not include a creator. And so oftentimes, because our recursive language delimits, because our non-recursive language delimits embeddedness, hence allowing for infinite possibilities, and their non-recursive language limits their considerations. This because of that, it's as if Anton, Korean, Japanese, Spanish, English, French, and on all of Anton's thesis, what he discusses about the intersubjective, what he discusses in general about language and about what it is to human intersubjectivity, human capability, these things, he's granting so much to the human node, which is what he was accusing Gary of getting way too caught up in. Oh, don't discuss brains. Language is public. I'm not disagreeing that language is public. As a matter of fact, non-recursive and recursive languages, the language is still public. It's just that Anton is not. He's not able to see that the chasm between this differing type of human language than he has yet to consider. It undermines everything that he's suggested. And so he's busy, even though some of the authors that he's quoting, that he quotes, are addressing such a vast difference of consideration in their own philosophies. He doesn't see that. He'll cherry pick and put together this magnanimous waxing agenda of his description of humans and what it is to speak and all of the majesty and so forth, and he'll put it together in a nice package and he'll roll it out. And this is why I compare him to like a religion. He's a great orator, and he's sophisticated enough, and he moves through enough consideration that he's seduced a lot of feedback and a lot of following. Well, it's not my gig to get a lot of following, but I would like some feedback from individuals that might be able to jump in on this discussion. So I'm not certain what to say. So even in my back and forth with Anton again, explaining to him, this is a non-recursive language, he's saying, are you saying that these individuals do not have the capability of doing math? And I'm saying, It's not a question, and that it's not a question of their physiology being capable. Their language simply does not house mathematics. It's not embedded in the language. Therefore, it's not about the capability. Well, that says a lot. I'm granting that language is more public than even Anton's granting. My refraction and reflection to the universe, what it is I am capable of knowing. Like, I could learn a lot more mathematics than I know, but I'm capable of knowing that I can investigate that the possibilities open to me. But I'm only capable of knowing that because I've inherited this recursive language, this embedded language. These other people have not. So this is why I say Anton's obtuse. It's like he is in a nutshell, and he's in a nutshell of recursive language consideration, and he doesn't go beyond that. And until he's able to step back and see this grand chasm that comes right down to the very rudiments of the convention of the reed, it comes right down to the very use of the very inheritance structure of language, that which we reflect and refract back to, that we've inherited. He called it the big gift, and I thought that was great. Or that life is a gift, or language is a gift. And I look at language as a gift, but it's something exterior to us that we engage in. It's nothing, once again, the human physiology. I'm not trying to state, what somebody is capable of doing, because there's evidence of moving somebody from this culture outside of the culture, and where they were able to learn to count at a very young age. And of course, Everett has gone into their culture and learned a great deal of their language, and it's taken away his notions of creator. It's extracted something from him. Okay, so I don't know what to say. Anton, like he said, he doesn't have a lot of time for YouTube, so when something serious comes up, which I think I'm addressing here, he's not willing to reinvestigate, and because it would undermine a great deal of his considerations on things, and there's just no getting across. And I'm not even certain how to state this is a difference. It's not intuitive for him, and it's always been intuitive for me, and I guess I felt too embarrassed to continue to put it forth, because he would view this as something degenerate. Even the consideration of this is something, it's anti-hierarchical, it's anti-self-plugging, self-promotion, all these things that he loves to do: sell my book, self-promote, jack myself up. And I'm suggesting that's all just part of the Occidental manifest destiny, inheritance of the language, inheritance of culture that's got to be dog eat dog. And anything that goes against that is you would consider it degenerate. Well, it's like Chomsky's criticism of Everett. And I don't know. So I'm just going to have to let it be. I'll just state it. It's my line in the sand to him. And I don't mean anything by it. He's a good guy. Anton's a good guy. Okay, cheers. Thanks.